Ever pondered about the depth and the scale of scams that occur in India? Scams. The word itself rings a bell of mischief, deceit, and cunning. But what exactly is a scam? In its simplest form, a scam is a fraudulent or deceptive act or operation. It's a scheme designed to cheat people out of their hard-earned money or possessions. Now, let's narrow down this concept to the Indian context. India, like any other country, is not immune to scams. Every year, countless individuals fall victim to various scams, ranging from the simple to the sophisticated, from the petty to the massive. These scams not only rob people of their money, but also their trust and faith in the system. Scams in India operate in various shapes and sizes. Some scams involve a single person tricking another out of their money. Other scams are large-scale operations involving many people, often with intricate networks and elaborate plans. These scams can be as simple as a fake lottery win notification or as complex as a multi-crore financial fraud. The impact of scams on individuals and society is immense. On an individual level, a person who falls victim to a scam may lose money, personal information, or even their identity. This can lead to financial hardship, stress, and a lack of trust in others. On a societal level, scams can erode trust in institutions and systems, leading to cynicism and a lack of faith in the rule of law. They can also contribute to economic instability by diverting resources away from legitimate activities and towards fraudulent ones. But perhaps the most troubling aspect of scams is their pervasiveness. Despite laws and regulations designed to prevent scams, they continue to occur, often with devastating consequences. So, as we delve deeper into this topic, we will explore the various types of scams that are prevalent in India. We will look at how they operate, who they target, and what impact they have on individuals and society. As we delve deeper into this topic, prepare to uncover some of the most notorious scams that have occurred in India. Imagine a scam that cost the country billions. Yes, billions. That's the magnitude of the 2G spectrum scam. In the early 21st century, the world was witnessing a technological revolution, and India was no exception. The government was in the process of allocating frequencies for the second generation, or 2G, mobile communication services. This was a golden opportunity for telecom companies to expand their reach and services. However, it turned into one of the biggest scams in Indian history. The key players in this scandal were some high-ranking officials in the government and a few influential telecom companies. The man at the center of it all was the then telecom minister, A. Raja. The method was simple yet cunning: underpricing and favoritism. The 2G spectrum was sold to telecom companies at throwaway prices that were set in 1996, ignoring the market value of the spectrum in the 21st century. Furthermore, licenses were granted on a first-come, first-served basis, but with a twist. The rules of the game were changed midway to favor certain companies. The scam was not just about the lost revenue from the underpricing of the spectrum, which was estimated to be around $40 billion, but also about the loss of faith in the system. The scandal tarnished the image of the government and shook the trust of the citizens. It also led to a slowdown in the decision-making process in the government, affecting the overall growth of the telecom sector. Investigations, trials, and verdicts followed. Raja and several others were arrested and charged with corruption, cheating, and criminal conspiracy, among other things. The Supreme Court cancelled all the 122 licenses issued during Raja's tenure, causing turmoil in the telecom sector and costing the country even more. The 2G spectrum scam, a heist of massive proportions, surely left a dent in the Indian economy. But more importantly, it served as a stark reminder of the deep-seated corruption in the system and the need for transparency and accountability in governance. A sporting event turned into a breeding ground for corruption. That's the tale of the Commonwealth Games scam, a saga that unfolded in 2010 during the 19th Commonwealth Games, hosted by India. The Commonwealth Games are a prestigious international multi-sport event involving athletes from the Commonwealth of Nations, a grand spectacle that was supposed to showcase India's capabilities on a global platform. However, it ended up being marred by a scandal of epic proportions involving key players in the government and sports administration. So, who were the key players? The list is long, but the most prominent figure was Suresh Kalmadi, the then chairman of the Commonwealth Games Organizing Committee. Along with his accomplices, Kalmadi manipulated the system, leading to a massive financial scandal. These key players, through a series of well-planned maneuvers, inflated the cost of goods and services, awarded contracts at exorbitant rates, and indulged in blatant favoritism, causing a loss of millions to the public exchequer. From treadmills priced as luxury cars to umbrellas costing more than a fine dining experience, the scale of the scam was astounding. The financial implications were staggering. The initial budget was around $150 million, but by the end of the event, the cost had ballooned to a whopping $2 billion. This was not just a case of financial mismanagement, but a clear misuse of power and public funds. The aftermath of the scam saw a series of investigations, arrests, and trials. Kalmadi and his cohorts were arrested and charged with corruption, conspiracy, and cheating, among other offenses. However, the damage had been done. The Commonwealth Games scam not only tarnished the image of the nation, but also squandered public funds meant for the development of sports. A bitter reminder of how corruption can turn a moment of national pride into a national embarrassment. A company's reputation can be ruined in a heartbeat. The Satyam scandal is a prime example. Let's take a closer look at this scandal that rocked the Indian corporate world. The Satyam Computer Services scandal emerged as one of the most infamous episodes of corporate fraud in India. The man at the helm of this scandal was none other than the company's chairman, Ramalinga Raju. The name Satyam, ironically meaning truth in Sanskrit, became synonymous with one of the biggest lies in Indian corporate history. What was the fraudulent activity that Ramalinga Raju and his team indulged in? Well, they cooked the company's books to the tune of over $1 billion. Yes, you heard it right, over $1 billion. The inflated revenues, artificial cash balances, and non-existent accrued interest were part of this grand deception. To keep this illusion alive, the company even reported a fictitious employee count, inflating the number by over 10,000. But as the saying goes, you can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. The truth surfaced in January 2009 when Raju confessed to the fraud in a letter to the company's board of directors. The aftermath was immediate and devastating. The company's stock plummeted and it was soon delisted from the stock exchanges. The consequences of the Satyam scandal were far-reaching. Raju and 9 others were sentenced to 7 years in prison for criminal conspiracy and cheating, among other charges. The investors suffered enormous losses, and the ripple effect was felt across the Indian IT sector. The scandal also led to stringent changes in India's corporate governance and auditing standards. In the end, the Satyam scandal served as a stark reminder of the extent of corporate fraud. It revealed how manipulations and lies could lead to the downfall of a once thriving company. The scandal shook the confidence of investors and stakeholders, prompting calls for more transparency and accountability in the corporate world. The Satyam scandal, a stark reminder of corporate fraud, shook the confidence of investors and stakeholders alike. From telecom to sports to corporate fraud, scams in India have left an indelible mark. A journey through the maze of these scams reveals the magnitude of their impact on the country's landscape. Let's take a moment to retrace our steps through this labyrinth. We began with the 2G spectrum scam, a tale of corruption that shook the telecom sector to its core. This was not just a case of financial misappropriation, it was a breach of public trust. The fallout was tremendous, leading to the cancellation of licenses, imprisonment of key players, and a massive loss to the exchequer. The lesson here is clear: transparency and accountability must be the cornerstones of any public-private partnership. Then we delved into the Commonwealth Games scam, a classic example of inflated costs and substandard work. A grand sporting event was marred by the shadow of corruption. The aftermath saw top officials charged and the reputation of the country's sports administration deeply tarnished. The takeaway? A stringent audit mechanism is vital to prevent such large-scale misappropriations. Our journey concluded with the Satyam scandal, an infamous corporate fraud that rattled the Indian IT industry. The company's top brass manipulated accounts, creating a mirage of prosperity that eventually crumbled, leaving stakeholders in the lurch. This scandal underscored the importance of corporate governance and the need for stringent checks and balances. But why revisit these scams? To learn from them, to understand that the cost of corruption is not just monetary, it's a blow to public faith, a dent in national pride. Each of these scams teaches us that vigilance, transparency, and accountability are not optional, they are essential. As we wrap up, remember that awareness and vigilance are our best defenses against falling prey to such scams. Stay informed, stay safe. The fight against corruption is a collective effort, and every step we take towards awareness is a step towards a more transparent and accountable society.